Good evening and welcome to Newswatch this Tuesday, the 26th of October 2021. We are ready with the latest stories of the day. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Tony Omondi and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Now, as political realignments continue to take shape, Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru has on Tuesday decamped to Deputy President William Ruto's camp just 9 months to the general election. Waiguru, who was officially received by DP Ruto at his current residence, said her move was honest, informed by pressure from people on the ground after the Mount Kenya region felt dissatisfied with how Jubilee Party was being run. As Dickens Livanda reports, it remains unclear how Waiguru will defend her seat, given that Kirinyaga woman representative Ongui Ngirishi seeks to unseat her through the UDA party ticket.
Wamesema wanakuja kwa hii pande yetu washikanilie na sisi sababu wamesema wanasikiza vile Wanjiku wanasema.
The rivalry between Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru and the county women representative Wangui Ngirishi is likely to escalate after Waiguru officially joined Deputy President William Ruto's hustler team. Waiguru, a first-time governor, was officially received to the United Democratic Alliance UDA party by its party leader DP Ruto at his current residence on Tuesday in company of 25 members of county assemblies from across Kirinyaga County.
Sisi leo tulikuwa tumekuja hapa kufanya tu kitu moja na ni kuvuka. Lakini sikuwa nataka watu wafikirie tumevuka bila kufikiria. Nimesema tumeongea na wazazi, tumeongea na watoto, tumeongea na neighbors, wale watu ambao sisi tunahudumia kule chini mashinani, na wote wametuambia kuwa chama ni UDA na form ni na mpango ni bottom up.
I am very proud that the people of Kirinyaga, you as the leaders, led by your governor, have made this decision that we want to work together and we want to walk this journey together. I want to say, good people, you're most welcome. You are actually at home.
Ever since the collapse of the BBI, Governor Waiguru's political allegiance has remained a subject of speculation after she stated that defending her seat on a Jubilee Party ticket in 2022 will be an uphill task. According to Waiguru, the Mount Kenya region is dissatisfied with how the party has been run over the last 5 years.
Tutasimama na wewe kwa sababu kiongozi ambaye anafikiria ati yeye ndio anaambia wananchi na sio wananchi wanamwambia, huyo ni kiongozi ambaye anaweza jipata mahali ambapo unakuwa mtu irrelevant. Kwa sababu wananchi ndio wanaamua. Na wananchi wameamua UDA.
The only place we find freedom and room to exercise our democracy is in the room called UDA. Kwa hivyo nimesema sisi wote ni watu ya wheelbarrow.
Kiingia tafadhali walisema uwakumbuke. Na wao wako pande yako kabisa 100%. Na ikifika 2022 watu wamwe wadanganya na Kirinyaga na kwa jumla.
Na sasa nyumba iko complete. Na nyumba ikiwa complete, jua ya kwamba siasa ya Mount Kenya tukitaja Kirinyaga tutanyorosha vizuri.
While receiving Waiguru, DP Ruto assured UDA political aspirants that there will be a fair and just competition in the party. This now leaving Waiguru and Ngirishi in a crossroad as to who amongst the two will get the UDA party ticket come 2022.
And we have formed a formidable team that has not only won us an election, but has also helped us to have a track record of working for the people of Kenya. It would have been a big loss if we didn't come together.
Dickens Livanda, Hope TV Newswatch.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has filed a notice of appeal against the High Court order that requires him to appoint 6 judges he had rejected over alleged integrity issues. The president had declined to appoint the 6 judges to the Court of Appeal, citing an advanced National Intelligence Service brief. However, the Judicial Service Commission, which was doing the vetting of 41 judges to be appointed, argued the brief did not provide evidence. Dolly Murigi has this report.
The notice of appeal comes 2 days after Attorney General Paul Kihara Kariuki also filed a similar notice signaling that the impasse may continue. The AG lodged his notice through Deputy Chief State Counsel Emmanuel Bita. President Kenyatta and the said AG are aggrieved that by the court's findings that the head of state can be sidestepped in the appointment of judges. Through lawyer Waweru Gatonye, he intends to appeal against the entire 69-page judgment. The judges at the center of legal dispute are Jojo Dunga, Agrey Muchelule, Joel Ngugi, and Dweldon Koril, together with Mombasa Chief Magistrate Evans Makori and High Court Registrar Judith Omange. Chief Justice Martha Koome and the Judicial Service Commission (JSC) will be at liberty to take all necessary steps in having the nominees sworn in and assigned duties. Justice Dulu, Musyoka, and Wakiaga found that the current practice of judges being sworn in before President is not founded on any constitutional or statutory law. They said, and I quote, "We are of view that it's perhaps founded on tradition based on his role as the head of state. The tradition and practice in Kenya is that judges are sworn in by the chief registrar of the judiciary in the presence of the president." Further, they found that the president, having failed to follow the tradition or practice to have the judges formally appointed through gazettement and thereafter sworn in or affirmed before him, the court could quite properly deem to be duly appointed. The court stated, "We have not seen any constitution or legislative provision, and none has been pointed out to us, which could bar the Chief Justice from swearing in the judges, for there is no provision anywhere which gives the President a constitutional or legal role or mandate or duty in swearing in of the judges. This then leaves it open for the swearing in before the head of the judiciary." Dolly Mirigi, Hope TV, Newswatch.
Moving on, traders from Kongoya Market in Mombasa County and some UDA recruited grassroots leaders have called on the Deputy President William Ruto to intervene in a case where they say they were allegedly duped 2 million shillings last week. The group, comprising border operators, Mama Mboga and small enterprises, said the money was donated by the Deputy President during his coastal tour last week. Led by their chairperson, Richard Nyangolo, the traders said the money was meant to cushion them after their businesses collapsed due to COVID-19 pandemic. They said the Mombasa County route appointment, who was given the money to distribute to them, vanished with the cash to their dismay.
Siku ya leo tunataka kuangazia ile turma imeonekana katika zile pesa zililetwa na Deputy President za kuja kusaidia wanabiashara ndogo ndogo. Hizo pesa zilipopokewa hasikufikia wale wamama wenye biashara ndogo ndogo. Kulingana na uchunguzi ile tumefanya, pesa zimefikia wananchi ni 700,000. Zingine zote wanaume 6 wamesieka kwa mfuko, wamepeleka kwa akaunti zao. Mimi nataka kuambia kama kiongozi ambaye anawakilisha nyinyi, wale walipewa hizi pesa waliweka chairman Mbiti kando, wakapewa na wao hawajachaguliwa kirasmi.
Kwa hakika Deputy President amekuwa akija ndani ya hii soko akiwa na malengo la kusaidia wafanyabiashara, lakini bwana Deputy President, mahali upo ujue ya kwamba pesa zozote unazozilete zinakuja kwa mikono ya matapeli.
Pesa ambayo ililetwa wamama wanalia, wamama wakupata hizo pesa vile inatakikana, na anasema pesa inaenda kwa wamama wa chini, watu wa chini. Mama Mboga. So I don't think 100 Mama Mboga atafanya naye nini?
Katika hiyo pesa throw milioni 2, sisi tusangae milioni 2 wanya mnagane, so tuambiwa section ya 42 na section zingine sipata 5,000 kwa 50. Kwa hivyo sisi tukiomba president wetu, yani makamu wa rais wetu, atume watu wasunguzi pesa zingine zipelekwe wapi, kwa sababu ili wanye kupita 500, mimi naona kama ni 500 maoni yangu.
And lecturers and non-teaching staff of Murang'a University have called on the institution's management to fully implement the 2017-2021 Collective Bargaining Agreement, CBA. The members of staff have accused the university's management of failing to implement the CBA despite a court order that directed institutions of higher learning to increase salaries for lecturers and non-teaching staff from January this year. On Tuesday, the members allied to 3 unions, Universities Academic Staff Union, UASU, Kenya University Staff Union, KUSU, and KUDHEIA, said they will continue picketing until their grievances are addressed.
We also want our TFs and our GAs to start getting the annual increments. They are not normally awarded the increments. They have been staying for in the same grade, the same notch for the past 4-5 years. We want the university management to give us a comprehensive medical cover. Our staff are suffering. We are not, and we cannot continue that way. Right now, our staff is in the old salaries, according to the 2013-2017 CBA. The other universities are getting their salaries according to the 2017-2021 CBA. So actually, we are about 2 cycles behind. And that is why we want those issues addressed by the university management.
So members need their money. Members need the money that was ruled by the courts. That is what they need, and that is what we are here for. The other thing, we have what we call internal CBAs. The internal CBAs have not been approved up to now. We are now going to the second cycle. Nothing has been approved. We are saying we need the internal CBA to be approved and to be finalized so that we are able to move on as a university.
Away from that, any family can be engulfed by pain and grief when faced with death. However, it's a different script. In one particular family in Shinyalu, Kakamega County, the family has lost 3 children after they were paralyzed at the age of 4. As Kennedy Kimani reports, the family has now been left with just one 14-year-old son who is also paralyzed and is usually traumatized when he imagines what became of his siblings.
We are welcomed here by this boy who stays at this place, thinking about his life while staring at the graves of his brothers who passed away due to the current situation he is in. His family was blessed with 7 children, but 3 boys have already passed away, forcing the parents to relocate the girls so as to cater for the needs of the remaining son, whose mother says is an uphill task raising the boy since the boy can't talk, eat or go to the toilet.
Changamoto ni kuwa siwezi toka kumwacha kama sina mtu wa kuacha hapa. Na kumuosha lazima umuoshe, lazima umlalishe, lazima umuamushe. Kwenda choo mpaka umpepe, umpeleke kwa choo, umweke kwa choo, ni umweke tena. Sasa changamoto tu ni kumulea. Hiyo kazi kwa mama ni kazi ngumu, lakini najaribu kama mama.
Although there have been well-wishers who have meant well for them, the pain that the parents feel is too much to bear. The father of the children is not strong mentally, while their mother has to deal with the hate and mockery she receives from neighbors. Nevertheless, she is full of hope of a better tomorrow.
Hawa watoto walizaliwa kawaida, watoto 4 wote wakawa na ulemavu. Sasa huyu amebaki peke yake, wenzake 3 washaaga. Sasa ni kama hata huyu amepoteza matumaini. Lakini sasa venye mimi nimekuwa nikitembea na yeye, nikitembea na hii familia, najaribu sana kuwapa hope. Kumuonyesha ya kwamba asiwe na wasiwasi. Though kila mtu hapa anaona situation yenye huyu mtoto yuko. Si rahisi. Wenzake wameaga, amebaki peke yake. Lakini sisi hapa kama jamii, mimi kama mama, ndio naelewa uchungu wa mwana. Sana sana mtoto akizaliwa na ulemavu, mama ndio huwa na shida sana.
Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch.
Government spokesperson Sarah Saguna has led a food distribution exercise in Mogotio, Baringo County, which has been severely affected by drought. Guna, who spoke on the ongoing drought in several counties in the country, says the government is ready to provide food and water to all affected persons. Our reporter Grace Ongoi has the details.
The ongoing drought continues to bite and to cause suffering for thousands of Kenyans, death of livestock in drought-stricken counties. However, help is not too far. According to government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna, the government is determined to ensure all affected Kenyans are supplied with water and food through scaled-up mobilization of resources. Already, 1.2 billion shillings has been mobilized for the month of November. According to data, the drought, which was declared a national disaster by President Uhuru Kenyatta in September this year, has now reached different levels. Releasing the data, Oguna announced that Baringo, Garissa, Isiolo, Kilifi, Kitui, Kwale, Lamu, Mandera, Marsabit, Samburu, Tana River, Turkana, Wajir were at a risk of severe drought. Areas under moderate risk of drought, on the other hand, are Kajiado, Laikipia, Makueni, Meru, Taita Taveta, Tharaka Nithi, and West Pokot. The areas of Embu, Narok, and Nyeri have little to worry about as they are at low risk of facing drought. Food distribution exercise in 13 of the most affected counties is still ongoing, this being part of the short-term intervention to address the perennial drought situation. The distribution of foodstuff includes 4,650 kg bags of maize, 64,105 kg bags of rice, 34,450 kgs of beans, 19,500 cartons of vegetable oil, and 17,300 fortified health food. For Baringo County alone, the government has provided 6,000 bags of maize, 50 kgs each, 3,000 bags of rice, 50 kgs each, 3,000 bags of beans, 50 kgs each, 1,200 cartons of vegetable oil, and 1,200 cartons of fortified health foods. Other short-term interventions include water tracking that should see distribution of water to people and livestock, hunger safety net, which will see more households receive 4,400 every 2 months. Inua Jamii, a social protection program in which over 1 million households countrywide have been receiving cash transfer of 2,000 per month to protect the elderly, orphans, and persons with disability. School feeding program targeting 2.5 million children in public primary schools in 10 ASL counties. Grace Wangoi for Hope TV News Watch.
And that story from Grace Wangoi takes us to a fast break on News Watch. We'll be back with more. To stay with Hope TV.
Tomorrow night on Spotlight.
We know him as an author, and now he is aspirant for governor in Makueni County.
And so I've stood there and told them my story and told them, to me, this is not even just about politics. It's about serving the people, and ultimately it's about serving God. Well, on the ground, I must say that people are hungry for good leadership.
Nationwide, that's the question of every citizen.
I think a real leader who cares, number one, they see the people for who they are. He stops and sees.
Welcome back to News Watch. Residents of Makima area in Mbeere South, Embu County have called on President Uhuru Kenyatta to intervene and solve problems surrounding the subdivision of Mwea Settlement Scheme. Speaking in Dune Market, the residents said they've suffered in the hands of people who've been trying to evict them from their ancestral land. Led by the area member of County Assembly, Philip Nzangi, the residents called on the president to give them a permanent solution before the end of his tenure. Nzangi said many residents who have lived on the land for decades were shortchanged during delimitation and many were locked out. They also want the president to form a committee to look into the issues bedeviling the residents.
Hatutakubali kamwe kuwe na mtu mmoja wetu atabaki akilia na mwingine ambaye hata hatumfahamu, hatujawahi kumuona hapa kwetu, aende akicheka. Ati kwa sababu amempokonya mtu ardhi ambaye ameishi miaka yote na watoto wake na familia zake. Na tumesema mara nyingi, sisi watu wa Makema tuko tayari kuketi na serikali kutatua hii shida. Kwa heshima zote, tunakufahamu na tunakutambua kama rais ambaye amefanyia nchi hii yetu kazi nyingi sana. Na tunajua unapigwa hata na wenzako ambao unafanya kazi na wao, lakini twakuomba tafadhali usistaafu kama hujatutatulia shida yetu ya mashamba hapa Makema. Unayo nafasi ambayo umepewa na Mungu, Mheshimiwa Rais, ya kutatua shida ya watu wake. Shida yetu hapa si yetu, ni ya kuletewa. Usiwasikize hao. Tuna afisa wako hapa kwetu, na usikubali mambo ya kuletewa kama hawajakuja ground mahali watu wako, wazungumzie wananchi, wajue shida ya wananchi ni gani, wakatatue shida ya mwananchi wa Makema, sio shida ambayo wanapewa kule kwa maofisi.
Moving on, the National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, has for the second day today led over 100 youth leaders from the 4 counties of Western Region at the Kima International School of Theology for training on development of manifestos that detail the aspirations they'll demand from political leaders and aspirants in the lead-up to the 2022 general election. The youths in the 4 counties of Bungoma, Kakamega, Busia and Vihiga unanimously vowed not to allow politicians to continue using them for political reasons, but instead endeavor to assume leadership and decision-making positions and provide solutions to issues facing the society. Alice Diana reports.
Youths from the Western Kenya counties are vowed to work together for the purpose of the unity and development agenda of this country as Kenyans prepare for the 2022 general elections. Under the Vijana Twaweza banner, the National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, held a 2-day youth conference guided by the theme Wholesome Youth for a Wholesome Society in Vihiga County, with an aim of being trained on development of manifestos that detail the aspirations they will demand from political leaders and aspirants in the lead up to the 2022 general elections. Recognizing that the youth make up more than 70% of the population of Kenya, youths from Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma and Busia counties say they will not let politicians use them for personal gains. The Western Region youth leaders have also resolved to transform political narrative from personality-based politics to issue-based politics through development of manifestos at community, ward, constituency, county and national levels, including engaging in voter registration drives. The conference comes amid a warning to insightful politicians from the Ministry of Interior led by CS Fred Matiang'i that political leaders and aspirants using the youth to propel violence ahead of 2022 elections, that they risk being locked out of the elections.
We need to emphasize to our leaders that they will take personal responsibility for some of the actions that they get their supporters to be involved in. And where need be, we will be presenting both to the relevant agencies evidence and information we have of individual political actors who are engaged in incitement and who are mobilizing groups of people to disrupt meetings. And they should take individual responsibility, including we will petition the IBC to disqualify some of these people from contesting electoral offices.
For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Alice Diana.
The Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, has welcomed the move by the Democratic Party, DP, to nominate him as the flag bearer in 2022. Speaking in Nyeri County, where he met the party delegates, Muturi insisted that he will vie for presidency next year. Muturi said Mount Kenya residents will ultimately decide who to vote for in various elective positions in next year's general election, adding that political leaders are free to associate themselves with whichever party.
As the whole country is well aware, but for clarity and for avoidance of doubts, I repeat that I will be vying for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya on the Democratic Party of Kenya ticket. Therefore, today's meeting is to consult and to get informed about the issues that affect the ordinary people, so that we get fully aware and seized of them, so that as we come up with programs, they are programs that address those concerns of the people. As you know, the Constitution of Kenya places a lot of premium on consultation, and this is just to amplify that particular constitutional principle of consulting and participating with everybody, so as to come up with policies and solutions that go to address the concerns of the people. That essentially is the purpose of our meeting here today. And as you can see, I am with officials of the party, the chairman, Sakioni, Sambugu, Chakarau, and several others who are all officials, national officials of the party. But essentially, it is, as you've seen, a consultative program that has been arranged for all of us here.
The Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, has rolled out the recruitment of counsellors to address rampant cases of gender-based violence in the police service. Speaking in Eldoret during the launch of the Legal Awareness Week, officials from the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, and the Law Society of Kenya said it was unfortunate that some of gender-based violence cases that police are supposed to investigate were perpetrated by the same officers, prompting the need to have a mechanism to address such concerns.
One of the things that we wish to put into highlight and what is prevalent currently is the gender-based violence that seem to be rampant and getting out of hand. We will be offering advice with a legal perspective to see that this is brought to control and have people access justice.
We do carry out investigation, but the investigations, especially with gender-based violence, has been where the police officers are the perpetrators. And we have had some sorry states in terms of complaints where persons who are detained in police cells have actually been taken advantage of, their rights have been violated, and in certain instances they have actually been raped. And we would want to urge the police officers, the National Police Service Commission, the IG to take up those issues very, very seriously. We have seen an increase of police officers misusing their firearms, shooting their loved ones, shooting their colleagues. There is a serious problem here. And this brings to mind the issues of mental illness. And we have engaged the National Police Service also on this. And lately we are happy to see that they have actually recruited and advertised for counsellors so that police officers can also receive this particular service, so that we do not have police officers who go without rest, who go without debriefing after an operation and end up being mentally disturbed.
Let's now look at the COVID-19 situation in the country. Kenya has recorded 151 new coronavirus cases from a sample size of 7,224 tested in the last 24 hours. The positivity rate stands at 2.1%, with total confirmed cases rising to 252,839. According to a statement from the Ministry of Health, 35 patients have recovered, pushing the total recoveries to 246,390. 3 patients have succumbed to the disease, all of them being late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits in July and October 2021. This pushes the cumulative fatalities to 5,263. In terms of admissions, a total of 488 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities. Meanwhile, Kenya has crossed the 5 million mark in COVID-19 vaccination after the Ministry of Health announced that a further 85,460 Kenyans had received the jab. According to the latest figures, a total of 5,029,901 vaccines have so far been administered across the country as of October 25th. And President Uhuru Kenyatta has cautioned that in the absence of urgent climate change adaptation action, Africa's gross domestic product, GDP, risks contracting by up to 30% by the year 2050. Consequently, the president rallied the global community to support the accelerated rollout of adaptation programs in Africa to mitigate against the growing adverse effects of climate change, as well as strengthen the continent's resilience. The president's message was contained in a recorded video address delivered at a hybrid conference hosted by the University of Nairobi in partnership with the Global Center on Adaptation, GCA, to celebrate the Africa Adaptation Acceleration Day, a precursor to the United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP26, that will be held in Glasgow, Scotland.
Ladies and gentlemen, the recently released 6th assessment report of the UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has confirmed that the African continent is the region most exposed to and adversely impacted by climate change. We are together seeing major climate change impacts across our African continent. These include the ongoing drought that has ravaged eastern parts of our country and precipitated famine, as well as the 2020 floods that we saw here in East Africa, which affected over 1 million people. Additionally, and this is notable, is that the worst locust outbreak in 25 years, which left about 1 million people food insecure in the Horn of Africa. While impacts will vary across the region, we anticipate that climate impacts will lead to overall yield reductions of at least 20% by 2050. Increased flooding will raise the risk of malaria, while frequent droughts will put severe stress on our water resources. So, ladies and gentlemen, for Africa, a low-emitting continent, the main priority is adaptation, and it is now an urgent imperative. We need to accelerate action to moderate the negative impacts of climate change, facilitate adjustment to expected climate impacts, and strengthen our capacity to absorb, accommodate, and recover from climate change effects.
Meanwhile, Environment Cabinet Secretary Keriako Tobiko says the government has rolled out a national climate change response strategy to mitigate the effects of global warming. Tobiko, in a speech read on his behalf by the chairman of the National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA Board of Directors, John Conchella, during the inauguration of the NEMA Green Point in Siaya Town, urged county governments to partner with the ministry and help mitigate the effects of climate change.
We are officially inaugurated. The ministry has rolled out several important initiatives, including a national climate change response strategy and action plan. The action plan goes on to address several important areas, including mitigation, adaptation policy, legislation, and institutional framework, knowledge management, and capacity development, and performance measurement. The implementation of the oversaid frameworks will be done by both government and private sector players.
The climate change bill that we took the Assembly is already out, together with the policy that is managing our environment is also out, so we are going to operate legally. And even the special plan is also at the stage whereby it has been taken to the Assembly, and before very soon they will pass the bill so that we have a complete fine print that we can be able to work on.
In Uasin Gishu, Governor Jackson Mandago said that organizations intending to carry out peace meetings in the county will henceforth be required to seek permission from the County Security Committee. This, Mandago said, will help support cohesion and integration among locals. Speaking in Moy's Bridge, Soi Sub-County, the governor reiterated that every organization that undertakes any form of peace event should seek clearance from his office.
Kila mtu sehemu hii tunataka watu wadumishe amani. Na maana chief, hakuna ruhusa, na mimi nasema hapa kama gavana hii county, ati wewe utatoka Bungoma, sijui Kakamega, sijui Nairobi, ati unakuja kuita wananchi hapa ati tuko na mkutano ya amani, na ni mkutano ya kuinsight. Kama mkutano haijapitia kwa ofisi yangu, hakuna maneno ya mkutano. Hiyo mchezo watu wawaje. Tunajua wale watu wanalipwa na watu wengine kuja kuleta siasa chafu. Mimi ni kama na hii dunia, hata kama naenda nyumbani, ni mpaka tarehe 22 mwezi wa 8 saa 6 ya usiku. Na kwa serikali hakuna vacuum. Ikiisha namna hii na hand over kwa governor next. Na pia nahakikisha tunaweka maneno ya usalama na amani hapa. Hatuwezi kubali. Nimeona jana Eldoret kuna watu ya National Cohesion and Integrity Commission. Hata wanakuja kuzunguka. Hiyo ni fitina. Kama watu wanafanya mambo ya uwazi, wafanye kupitia ofisi ya governor na county commission. Na kwa hiyo mimi sitaki kusikia mikutano ya kuchochea wananchi katika county hii.
Furahia na Optiven.
Dad, gari mpya.
Umetoa wapi gari mpya?
Optiven wametusort.
Optiven?
Nunua any of our value-added properties ama redeem installment ya property yako. Kwa kila malipo ya 10,000 unapata 1 entry point kwenye draw ya Furahia na Optiven promotion. Airtime kushindaniwa kila siku, holiday kila wiki, shinda ploti na gari kila mwezi, na grand prize ya Mercedes-Benz C180. Ni rahisi, buy ama redeem na ushinde na Furahia na Optiven.
Welcome back. Absa Bank has donated 2.9 million shillings to a community-based project known as For the Love of Girls as part of its ongoing citizenship programs. The funds will be used to support young women empowerment initiatives in Nairobi and Kiambu counties, including mentorship programs and the distribution of reusable sanitary pads to a juvenile detention center and other beneficiary groups. The project's goal is to identify the community's most disenfranchised members to propose effective mitigation solutions.
Our membership has continued to grow. In fact, during the pandemic, our membership grew tremendously compared to the previous years. So we are happy to know that women want to be identified with us and women want to belong, because this association empowers and mentors the youth, and even amongst ourselves. We have grown, we have learned, and we are able to just support one another in all that we do. It's an empowerment forum.
I'm happy and proud to see that we support women in this sector, especially with mentorship, capacity building, and also provision of opportunities in business. We also do business together. We have tour operators in here, we have hoteliers, we have people in public sector like ourselves at the Kenya National Convention Bureau. We have people in meetings industry. So this collection of business, women in business, gives a good atmosphere for us to conduct business, and also empowerment and support as an association to grow. Our agency is out to do an awareness creation campaign. So we are here to create awareness of what the Convention Bureau is all about. We are telling the women in tourism what our role is to increase the number of meetings in the country. How do we work together in your respective areas, whether you're a tour operator, a travel agent, an airline, a hotelier, how do we work together to ensure that business tourism grows in this country, because that is in our mandate.
The Kenya Association of Women in Tourism, KAWT, marked its 10th anniversary celebrations in Mombasa County with calls for more women empowerment in the tourism sector. Veteran hospitality expert and investor Jane Adams was re-elected back to the post of national chairperson during the event, which also served as the association's annual general meeting held at the Voyager Beach Resort and Spa. More than 60% of the workforce in the tourism industry in Kenya is made up of women, but they remain underrepresented in key leadership positions.
We are here to involve and engage the relevant stakeholders in the final steps of developing these standards. For us, it's an important activity that we're undertaking this morning to ensure that the standards being developed here actually address the needs of the people with disabilities. We still have another phase to go through, what we call public review stage, where we are going to circulate this document widely, and we shall encourage as many comments as possible to be received during that phase, so that we have another round of disposing of those comments, so that all the requirements are captured in these documents.
So the beauty of developing a digital accessibility standard is that it will change the entire digital sector, whether it's private sector, whether it's government, whether it's education, whether it's non-profits. As they invest in technology, they're thinking about inclusion from the beginning. There'll be global standards for them to refer to. The requirements will be very clear. And that's why we are here today, to make sure that we come up with a standard that's geared towards the Kenyan market. Technology is the same across the globe. So we're making sure that we follow the global accessibility requirements for accessibility.
For persons without disabilities, technology makes things easier. But for persons with disabilities, technology makes things possible. And those are the standards that we are developing in order to make the experiences of persons with disabilities more friendly.
We do apologize for that mix-up there. Moving on, enable.org, in partnership with the Kenya Bureau of Standards, KEBS, has launched the first ever national ICT accessibility standard development process in Africa. This new standard is set to ensure that persons with disabilities, PWDs, and older persons who had been disconnected from most e-government services as well as digital platforms due to various challenges have equal access to public and private sector digital products and services, including websites, mobile applications, among others. Speaking at the launch in Naivasha, Irene Ambari Kirika, founder and executive director at Enable, explained that a national ICT accessibility standard is crucial to ensure persons with disabilities have access to useful digital information, especially if it's the only way to get that information.
We are here to involve and engage the relevant stakeholders in the final steps of developing these standards. For us, it's an important activity that we're undertaking this morning to ensure that the standards being developed here actually address the needs of the people with disabilities. We still have another phase to go through, what we call public review stage, where we are going to circulate this document widely, and we shall encourage as many comments as possible to be received during that phase, so that we have another round of disposing of those comments, so that all the requirements are captured in these documents.
So the beauty of developing a digital accessibility standard is that it will change the entire digital sector, whether it's private sector, whether it's government, whether it's education, whether it's non-profits. As they invest in technology, they're thinking about inclusion from the beginning. There'll be global standards for them to refer to. The requirements will be very clear. And that's why we are here today, to make sure that we come up with a standard that's geared towards the Kenyan market. Technology is the same across the globe. So we're making sure that we follow the global accessibility requirements for accessibility.
For persons without disabilities, technology makes things easier. But for persons with disabilities, technology makes things possible. And those are the standards that we are developing in order to make the experiences of persons with disabilities more friendly.
To To some sports news now. Kenya and Africa's 100 meters men record holder Ferdinand Omanyala has scooped the LG Sports Personality of the Month. Omanyala's stellar performance at the 2021 World Athletics Continental Tour Gold Series last month in Nairobi caught the eye of the panelists, as it did the country, continent and the world, where he ran a personal best time of 9.77 seconds for the second place in the race. Omanyala broke the African record, beating Akani Simbine's African record of 9.84.
I'm happy. I've always been telling her, Mazi, award. But thanks to God that it had to be this one. And thank you so much, LG, for recognizing me. And it's motivating, actually, to see someone recognizing you and, appreciating what you're doing. So it means that you're doing something good. So I'm looking forward to a great season again next year. All nominations again, kila month from January.
He is honored to keep continuing with this event of nurturing talent and also recognizing people who take up their efforts each and every month. And also in conjunction with SJAC, LG partnered to do that this year annually on a tune of 6.6 million. And I would say this is the 10th one we're giving this year. And as you all know, they say 10 is a complete number. And it is not ironical, we are talking about 100 meters. So it is 10 times 10.
Kenyan representatives at the CAF Confederation Cup, Gor Mahia and Tusker FC will face Asotoho Doyo of DR Congo and Tunisia's CS Faction, respectively, in the knockout stage set for the 26th to 28th of next month. Gor Mahia will launch their quest for the group stage Sport Away in Kinshasa on November 28th, while the FKF Premier League champions will welcome the championship record winners CS Faction in Nairobi before flying to Tunis for the return leg a week later. Tusker dropped to the Confederation Cup after a 5-0 aggregate thumping by Egyptians giants Zamalek SC in the second preliminary round of the CAF Champions League, while Gor Mahia eased to the knockout stage after a walkover against Al Ahly Meroe of Sudan. Right, we've come to the end of this live broadcast of Newswatch tonight. Thank you so much for staying with us and staying with Hope TV Newswatch. My name is Tony Omondi, and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murithi. Have a good night. God bless.